like the? I know you always say everything begins with defense. You always say that. But what was like after last night's, 2 nights ago's loss? What would you like to see from your squad tonight?
I mean, if you're going to make me talk, you're going to make me talk about offense? Okay, no problem, no problem. It's the bottom line offensively for me is the pass is king. The pass connects the dots to the fabric, the spirit of a team. The pass is king, it's everything. And so growing our offense with movement and pace and sharing the ball matters most to me. Like, do you have the guts to coach that way, to play that way when there's 2 minutes left in the game? And, you know, you have Joel Embiid and J.J. Redick and Jimmy Butler and Ben and so on. And in my old life in San Antonio, when we really trusted the system and the pass was king and it wasn't always post and Timmy and it wasn't always isolating Manu, like the team growth, the belief in that system enabled them to win championships. And somewhere in the balance of it all, the ecosystem of it all, to call Joel's number, to call JJ's number, I get that, I understand that. But holistically, to play with a style of play that it's popcorn and the ball is moving and the pass is king, it's everything, is what I really believe in. It's how I want to coach. And so the growth offensively, since you made me talk about offense, is that.
Can I ask one more offense question, even though I don't want to talk about offense? Detroit is #1 in three-point defense.
Yeah.
Because of that, do you guys change it all, what you do, or do you just do your game?
You feel the game, you know, and so what you would read into that stat, we're aware of that, is their closeouts on the three-point line are aggressive. And so possibly, you know, the drive, getting into the paint to great, paint to finish, paint to drop off, is the ripple effects of trying to, you know, take advantage of that aggressive three-point line defense. And so something has to give if and they are that aggressive on the three-point line. And we experienced that last year with the Celtics, you know, in the playoffs where people just fanned out and guarded Cove and Dario and JJ and Marco and all that. And so we hope to, you know, do different things, slashing out of it, driving it, moving it, to not just accept it.
You mentioned first shot defense against Toronto and that being one of the things you like. Can you kind of give us like an explanation on points of emphasis coaching-wise that you make on first shot defense and why that's a significant area for your team?
Because you're almost there. And almost is a very delicate, fragile word, because almost isn't good enough. And when I say you're almost there, you've done your work. Our first shot defense, when somebody shoots the ball, it's later in a clock. We're the third best team in the NBA producing shots later in a clock. We contest, we do a good job of contesting that shot even when it's late. But now finishing the play after that first shot defense that happens to be late in the clock is an area we need to get better at. And you need to finish the play with defensive rebounding. So when I say you're almost there, it is true, you're almost there. Then if we can really be great defensive rebounders, then you kind of got it all. And that allows you to take off. It's the launching pad to our running game, to our transition game, which we're pretty good in open court.
Blake, what do 2 games against Blake teach you about going into to game number 3 against him?
That he's really good, first of all. Like, he's grown his game over the years. I've seen him since he first came into the league. That's how old I am, and I've seen the growth of his game from just being this like bull in a china shop athlete to just his ability to pass, his ability to now shoot threes, his ability to really get out in open court on defensive rebounding dribble outs, I call them, and make plays as kind of a point forward. Over the years has just grown and become more polished. He is really, really good, really good. And I respect the growth in his game for some of those reasons.
Brett, did everyone participate in shooting?
No, we are going to rest Joel Embiid tonight. And this is something that you know, he obviously, if he could, would play 48 minutes. And I feel that if there's any responsibility that we have as an organization, is to preserve our players' health. And it was clear to us and to Joel that he was fatigued over the past few games especially. He plays the 4th most minutes in the NBA. And so my responsibility as the coach is, how do you deliver these guys and this team to April? How do you deliver them in a healthy, spirited fashion when it matters most? And so the decision to sit Joel tonight is mine, and it's always delivered with the purpose of trying to help him.
Yeah, because you could tell that, I mean, he just looked tired.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people were saying, you know, making stuff out of it, he looked tired. But is there any, like, bangs or bruises?
No.
Like, is his hand affecting him or anything?
I mean, everybody has, wear and tear, as we know with his hands as an example. I'm sure he'd tell you about other parts. It's just natural. Every one of my players would say that. But he has been amazing in regards to, like, his competitiveness in games. He's been great trying to, war through so much and accept, some minute that at times with overtime has gone longer than, in a perfect world you'd wish. And so, I hope as he gets older, he thanks us, because it's done entirely in his best interest, which obviously affects the best interest of the team. He is that important.
But was it tough, though? I mean, because you guys are, I know it's still early, but you guys are in 3rd, this team is in 4th. All these games count. I mean, why did, was it a tough decision? You could have probably
It is.
to win. Yeah.
No, it is a difficult decision in relation to, you're at Detroit. They're one of the, the East better teams. You're looking forward to seeing us play again against that type of competition. But when you step back and look at it, with your big boys hat on and sort of from a lens of responsibility, that it's not even close, that he needs rest. That's the bottom line. And really, we would look at a bunch of dates, and not many are ideal. And so after the last few games with Memphis and Toronto, it became clear just through the eye test and listening that the time was now. And so we've done that to help him and ultimately help our team have him for when it matters most.
Did he go back to? I'm sorry. Did he go back to Philly, or is he
No,
still
he's with us.
Oh,
He's
okay.
he's with us. He's with the team. He's talking to the team, and he just will not be on the court tonight.
How did you notice him respond to just kind of having some tough couple of games? It seemed like after last game,
It kills him.
Yeah, it killed him.
No, it kills him. I mean, I respect it, because the other thing, everybody has, out of 82 games, whatever, whether it's a coaching bad game or a playing bad game, and it's really, how do you respond to it? At times, how do you own it? And what I appreciate and respect as much as anything out of Joel, he never hides. Like, he gets way out in front of it. He owns stuff, and he's prideful. And so to not play him tonight, after what would have been a down game for Joel, probably is even more painful from a competitive standpoint for him. I understand that. I respect that. But he responds, I think, in a way that is mature, in that he owns stuff. He's not deflecting anything.
Do you decide on the rest of the group for your starting group for tonight?
We're going through that right now.
Most likely Lemire, though, maybe.
But, I mean, it's either going to be Mike Muscala or Amir. That's right. Yeah. I mean, you're really kind of running out of bodies.
A question, Brett. When with Jimmy being on the team, Jimmy, the spacing is better than when Markel was there. But at the same time, Jimmy attracts a crowd, especially guys want to prevent him from going in the lane. And do you think that has, like, hindered Joel a little bit? Because he says, like, the spacing, you guys are still trying to adjust to it. And maybe that could have affected his numbers.
I don't see it like that. I don't see it like that. I agree with Joel that always, we need to do better at spacing. I don't see it being a reflection of Jimmy. Mm-hmm. I don't see the connection of those dots. But I think in general he's right. Like, we always have to do better at creating space for Joel. It's clear that they come at him after he dribbles, you know, especially on this downside, he'll put it to the floor, spin back middle. You can book it all day, every day. There's somebody coming, you know, and trying to react to that environment and help react to that environment maybe better than we have is on my mind from a coaching perspective. But I do not see the connection of Jimmy having much to do with spacing. In fact, I think it completely enhances the possibility to have better spacing.